How you doing?
Good.
Everybody keeping their coats on? I'd like to call the January 15th Board of Supervisors meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Board met in executive session to discuss matters of litigation. May I have the approval of the minutes, please?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from December 4th, 2023, and January 2nd, 2024, as written.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? May I have the, did you say both?
I did.
Okay, all right. Kyle?
Okay, thank you. For those who don't know, the heat is not working in this room right now, so I do apologize for that. First announcement, the Township Offices will be closed on Monday, February 19th, in observance of President's Day. The Warwick Township Parks and Recreation Department has opened registration for winter programs. Anyone wishing to register can do so in person here at the Township Building or online at warwickrec.com. That's all I have.
All right. We have no one for citizens' comment. Anybody want it?
Actually,
Sorry.
so
But come to the podium. And please identify yourself with your name and address.
Peter Cohen, Warwick Township, 2265 Sand Trap.
Thank you.
So I wanna know, at the January 2nd meeting, I finally got a chance to look at the resolutions. I don't feel like the board actually read them, and just voted on them, because
Seriously,
I do, because you voted to have meetings on 2 federal holidays,
that's correct.
which were closed offices, but, just forget Martin Luther King Day, forget President's Day, and let's not pay homage to them and have meetings. And you also voted to, pay our executive director upwards of $182,000, which I've gotten right to know requests from neighboring townships. That's like the second highest salary behind Oilstown. If we're too small to record meetings, because we don't have the budget, then how are we able to pay our township manager, the second highest salary in the neighboring townships? That is pretty much all I got for it.
Okay, so is that a rhetorical question, or are you looking for facts?
I'm actually looking for a fact, like, if we can't simply pay $50 to stream our township meetings for our elderly residents that can't make these meetings in Heritage Creek, how are we able to afford the second highest salary in the neighboring townships?
Well, I don't know exactly what numbers you're looking at.
Well, I get a right to know for exactly what township managers make.
I'm not arguing that. I don't see them, so I don't know how that compares. So I can't address that until I see the numbers that you've looked at. As for the streaming, I don't know anything about it just costing $50, so we can certainly look at it. But we have made a decision a long time ago not to televise these, because many times people don't come to meetings and we want people at meetings. We also believe it's important to get the community involved, to come into the meetings like you're doing right now and asking the
Okay,
questions.
well, when I door knocked for my wife's campaign, there's a lot of people in Heritage Creek that don't drive at night. A lot. And wish the meetings were at least streamed where they could see it on their iPad.
Okay,
So
well, none of them have actually come in here yet and asked for that.
they don't drive at night, how are they gonna come in?
Or they could call. Could
If they don't drive at night, how are they coming in?
Because we're open all day long and anybody can come.
And we've
in.
emailed Kyle about this. His response was, most people want a
Sir,
budget for
sir, I
police firing
I really
us.
don't wanna get into an argument about it with you. I'd be more than happy to have Kyle talk to the folks down there and see what we can do. More than happy to look at any numbers that you have to see what we're doing, and more than happy to look at the idea of streaming. I had never heard a cost of $50, I was given other numbers.
StreamYard costs $55 a month. That's what that streams on. The gimbal was $110.
All right,
We have
thank
an
you.
excess budget, and we can't afford $160 to stream it to our Twitter and Facebook. We don't have to televise it. supervising costs a lot of money, but you can stream it for about $106. The $160 is gonna take up the police, fire, and EMS budget?
Okay, well, thank you for the suggestion.
No problem. I would reschedule president staff, but that's just me.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else for comment? All right, manager's report.
Thank you. First item on the manager's report is a presentation by James Adams, the Accreditation Program Coordinator. Please, Mr. Adams, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for having me this evening. I promise I'll be brief. I'm here on behalf of the Pennsylvania Chiefs of Police Association to recognize your police department in quite an achievement that they have made, and I feel important that not only the elected officials but also the public is aware of what all went into it. They recently became accredited. The Pennsylvania Chiefs of Police Association rolled out an accreditation program in 2001. Here we are in 2023. We have 170 police departments accredited. In the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, we have about 1,100 municipal police departments. Only 170 of them are currently accredited. We've actually accredited about 190 in the 23-year period, but it's not a certificate for life. There's a lot of work goes into it. Decision was made by your command staff of your police department to pursue accreditation. They worked on it very diligently, and what that means is they comply currently with 125 best practices in providing police services. And actually, that's a little bit of a misnomer in that within those 125 standards, there's a lot of what we call substandards or bullets. And when you add them all up, it actually adds up to about 370 best practices that your police department complies with. What happens is they looked over their policy manual, compared it with the standards, rewrote, updated their policy manual to comply with the standards. Then there's another major component of our accreditation program. We require a minimum of 2 proofs per standard. Because it's one thing to have a policy manual sitting on your shelf, but it's more important that the officers, the staff actually follow the policy manual. So that's why we require the proofs of compliance. When they were ready for it, they contacted our office. We sent 3 assessors to your police department. They spent 2 days with your officers, and your department opened up the department to the assessors, policy manuals. They did ride logs, talked to a lot of people to make sure that they were in compliance. A very lengthy report was written on that accreditation assessment. It came before the Accreditation Commission, and back in October they were awarded accreditation. Some people ask, well, what value is there in accreditation? Well, what the studies are starting to show by the insurance companies is that police departments of similar size, when you compare accredited agencies with non-accredited agencies, the accredited agencies are getting sued less often. When they do get sued, the payouts are significantly less. It's sort of like trying to argue how many burglaries did your police officers on patrol last night prevent? It's a hard number to come up with, okay? But the reality of it is your police department, and we all know that policing is a very high liability service that you supply, but your police chief and command staff are really one of your biggest risk managers here for the township. A lot of the insurance companies, it's not my place to suggest this, but a lot of insurance companies are in fact giving discounts to municipalities whose police departments are accredited because they know their policy manuals are up to date and they're complying with best practices. So it's certainly something to check into, and it may be worthwhile. So we currently have 170 police departments accredited, which includes the Warwick Township. That's about 14% of all the police departments in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania that are currently accredited. Quite an achievement, and that's why I wanted to come tonight and publicly present their certificate before the elected officials and before the public. So I promised I'd be brief, and I'm keeping my promise. Seriously, if anybody has any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. You can go to the public-facing webpage, pachiefs.org. There's an accreditation tab. There's a lot of information there about accreditation, and those 125 standards that I referenced a couple times are all posted. You can look at them yourself. Certainly, if you have any questions, You have resident experts on staff now because they are accredited, they've been through it, they know the accreditation standards inside and out, what they mean. But seriously, my contact information is there. I'd be more than happy to entertain any question for any reason that you can have them. So without any further ado.
Hold on, John, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I do.
Michael, any questions? Great, Chief?
So I'd like to call your chief and any staff that he'd like to bring up and publicly present his certificate of accreditation. Chief, congratulations on a job well done.
Thank you.
And photo op. All right. Actually, the work just begins because now every year they have to do a self-assessment, send in a very lengthy report to my office. And in 3 years, we'll have a new team of 3 assessors coming back in and going through the whole process again. It is not a certificate for life.
Okay.
So anyhow,
Thank you.
again, thank you very much for allowing me to take this time.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Next on the agenda is zoning hearing board 23-14, Gasper Landscape. In December, the council received a zoning hearing board application submission by Gasper Landscape of 501 Camars Drive, which is off of Camars Road. The property extends from the rear of an established industrial park on Murns Road. The most recent sign panel was approved under a zoning permit for along Murns Road. That's there currently, and I think it was shown in the last slide. The whole part of the flag lot along Murns Road is where the current ground sign is located.
Do we have anybody here from Gasper?
Yes.
The applicant is requesting relief from the Township zoning ordinance to allow an additional freestanding sign closer to the actual building and an additional wall sign that Sky will show on the board momentarily. This application is scheduled for February 6th, next month, and they're before you for zoning review.
So, do you want to speak or do you want us to start?
No,
Okay.
cheers.
Basically, like Kyle said, we're asking for 2 kind of variances. One for a second freestanding sign due to us having access from 2 roads and them being about half a mile apart from each other due to the orientation and the shape of the lot. The second is since we were approved when we went through subdivision for 2 uses, we have 2 entrances for each of the uses that we have. So we'd like to ask for 2 wall signs, and then we were also asking for them to be a little bit larger because we did some like views from Photoshop, kind of scaling the size of them with our large canopies and everything to that such. We felt the scale of the signs would be much more legible and more appealing to be a little bit larger in size. So we were asking for them to be 18 square feet versus the required 10 square feet. So.
Okay, John, you have any questions?
No, I don't really have any problems. Let them go to zoning and see what happens. The only suggestion I have, certainly not a requirement, but instead of putting your outside sign on pressure treated posts, since you're selling hardscaping, why don't you put it on a monument?
Well,
What?
it took a long time to get where we're at right now, so
Okay.
that is in the plan.
Just a suggestion.
Yeah.
Sure,
It's-
yes.
That's all I have.
Okay. Michael, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. What do you need from us? A vote? Just
If you're remaining neutral, nothing.
We are.
Only
Okay.
if you're in opposition.
Okay, good luck.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Next on the agenda is Land Development 23-01, the Quick Lube of Caroline Land LLC at 2201 York Road. In October of last year, the township received a sketch plan submission by Quick Lube. The applicant proposes an approximately 1,218 square foot 2-bay Big 5 oil change, which is a G25 vehicular accessories use in the C2 zoning district. This is the property that housed the former Loop Oil at the corner of York Road and South Road. Recently, the township has been made aware that PennDOT is requiring the access point along South Road be pushed back from the intersection as far as possible. This does align with the staff review comment as well. The township sidewalks on all future plan submissions to the applicant. And the application for the board, seeking sketch plan review.
And this is a new sketch plan?
And this is their unless, I don't know. if they-
Yeah, I apologize. We do have a revised plan that's different from what you see on the screen right there. And I can walk through, the changes have been minor. I can walk through the differences of what you see on that plan to what I just gave up to the board.
Well, I guess my question is, has the staff looked at the revised plan?
We have seen it, it has not been reviewed.
Do you think that we should wait till the staff looks at it?
Well, I don't know how much different, other than the driveway entrance, is everything else in the site the same?
Yeah, it's basically so for the record, Leonard out here at the law firm of Claire Harrison, Madam Chair. The revised plan that I just gave up to the board was completed late last week. It incorporates the comments that were provided not only from the staff, but also from the planning commission back on January 3rd. The biggest change, as Kyle said, is the moving of the entranceway on the House Road as far east as possible, so it doesn't affect the turning lanes going onto York Road. That is also going to be a right-in, right-out. Additionally, the entranceway onto York Road will also be a right-in, right-out. That's been another change that we made. I believe the parking has changed as well. We're required to provide 15. I think we have 16 parking spaces. 3 of them are going to be in reserve. And I don't know if the square footage changed based off of that map, but we do have a 1,097 square foot. I think the original one was 1,218. It's going to be a 2-bay quick lube oil change. I can go through the rest of the presentation, or these are kind of the high level changes that were made based off of that planning commission and the review letters. Sounds good.
Did staff look at the right-in, right-out on Al's house if a person decides they're going to go left
The staff has not performed any type of review on this
on the
plan.
first one?
Oh, yes, correct, and determined that we didn't think this location was appropriate for traffic.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
The one that, the original one that's on the board.
So this one's moved.
It's
See, the
moved
original
down.
one was here,
Right,
and now they're
moved
moving it up to
Yeah, but
here.
what's gonna stop someone from coming out, so they wanna go that way?
We need a harder,
Or something.
or a bigger island.
Yeah. Cause it won't happen with the York Road exit.
We've also retained traffic planning design Matthew Hammond. He's been coordinating a lot of the discussions with PennDOT. Again, as part of the sketch plan review, if the board wants us to put in what I would refer to as a more defined pork chop in that right in, right out, we can do that. Obviously in consultation with PennDOT, and then I would leave it to the traffic engineer for the expertise on how he wants to kind of handle that.
John, you have any questions?
The only thing I want to mention is, and it's not clear to me on the sketch plan, but sidewalks.
Yeah, so I guess that is one thing that has not been on here, that is not reflected on here, but my client has, we heard the comments from the staff, we also heard the comments in the planning commission, and so we have no problem, moving forward with that.
And I just want to clarify that the complete length of Alms House Road, even across the tributary.
Yeah.
That's my understanding.
And also that there will, I want to remind you, the overlay district color schemes, it may not be in alignment with what some of the pictures of the facilities that we've seen.
Okay.
And we will be looking to that seriously.
And again, we'll make sure, we'll have it, it'll be compliant.
Yeah, tone it down a little, please.
Following up on that, it might be a good idea for you to schedule a staff meeting
That's a great.
to go through. Your client might be like looking at some changes to what it considers its prototype store to meet the corridor overlay district, including a change in the logo.
We'll have those conversations internally, and I don't think that I don't have any opposition to having a staff meeting, and see if there's some mutually acceptable way that we can move forward.
Okay, any further?
That's all I have.
Michael, any further? Great, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, appreciate it. Thank you.
Next one on the agenda is Land Development 23-02, the Lube Construction, located at 1520 Meeting House Road. In November of last year, the township received a sketch plan application by DeLuca. The applicant is proposing a 4-lot residential subdivision consisting of B1 single-family dwellings in in the RR district with on-lot septic. We are aware, however, that the applicant has come in front of the planning commission 2 weeks ago with a different plan that again has not been reviewed, but showed a 5-lot subdivision and a public sewer. I'll turn it over to Mr. Murray.
Correct. Kyle's right. We did appear a couple weeks ago at your planning commission and talked about the merits of the plan that's on the screen and also a revised plan that the biggest difference was this plan does not contemplate public sewer. The other alternate plan does. And I was unaware. We had asked, at the end of the planning commission conversation, it was suggested we submit a more formal version of the alternate plan, which we did late last week. I wasn't unaware earlier, until Kyle made me aware today, that because staff hasn't had a chance to review it, that would not be a topic of conversation this evening, which is fine. I would ask, just so I don't clog up a future agenda, and we're happy to do the formal submission, have a review, and come back. The policy question that overrides it is the township open to extending the public sewer? That's the biggest change to the plan, but it creates all kinds of design. It solves a lot of design issues that were raised as part of that plan. So I'm happy to come back if you think it's worthy of a conversation about the public sewer. So that's really, if you could give me some direction, that's fine. We'll submit, come back around again. So.
What do you want to do?
It's a decision of yours.
It's not part of our 537.
It is not. And John, to be fully candid, when we were at the staff meeting in October, I think it was, staff said, don't think about extending public sewer. If that's still the policy, then this plan, we can do a compliant plan with public sewer. This plan that does not contemplate public sewer requires variances, which your staff reviews have highlighted, with which we agree. So we'll go to the zoning hearing board if that's what the goal is. But I would just say to you that the 5-lot plan is less awkward and probably achieves the design objectives in your staff reviews. That's all. But John, if that's the way majority of the board feels, we'll run with that. So.
Yeah, I think following the staff's recommendation is a good idea.
Okay.
Michael?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So
Right.
we'll no public sewer. We'll go to the zoning hearing board, and you'll probably see it again.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Good night.
Next item on the agenda is Jamison Place, 5001 Quartermaster Lane. That is a multi-development along York Road. To consider quarter overlay district approval for the development monument sign.
Anybody here?
I don't believe so. In November, the township received a zoning permit application from Pulte Developers. The color materials were received this month. They are located right in front of Mr. Cozen here on the board. I can move them. And this is just blue slate.
The only thing I worried about was about this. Somebody coming around and punching it or kicking it or knocking it down. It's an unusual sign to have that kind of bar.
Is it fixed though?
I can't tell.
Or does it swing?
I can't tell, I can't get it up on my computer. Does it swing?
You can make a condition of it that
It has to be
swing.
fixed.
That
Yeah.
it's a fixed,
That's a good idea, yeah.
hanging sign.
And I assume it's unlighted.
I don't see anyone.
I'm standing.
If there's no lights, then they're not proposing any lights at this time. They have to come back with a different permit for lights.
Okay.
I would think that they're probably on the plan.
Think what?
I would think.
Do you need a motion?
Yes, to grant quarter overlay district approval, conditioned upon a fixed hanging sign.
Yes. Just exactly what you said. I'll make that motion.
Okay, second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next item is another zoning permit for a sign. This business is Safe Rest Resources at the corner of Bristol Road and York Road at 1035 West Bristol Road. It's for quarter overlay district approval. We received this application in November by Leo Safro. The applicant's requesting to replace the existing sign, which over here, the existing sign is on the left, top staff. The new sign is on the right, Safe Rest. Same size, almost the same colors.
It's just a replacement.
Yes.
John, you have any questions?
Nope.
Michael, you have any questions?
Yes, Kyle, is it considered two separate signs for the medical center at the bottom versus the Safe Rest at the top?
Yeah, this is a
Two separate signs?
This is an odd property. It has multiple tenants located in one building at the corner here. And there's an Ivyland Medical Center. They're still there. And I think it's just the top staff is shifted to Safe Rest.
Okay.
Is that right?
That's good.
Okay, do you need a motion?
Yes, please.
Motion to approve the quarter overlay approval for the replacement sign at Safe Fresh.
You have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next is the 2023-2024 snow bid. It's the second bid that we've administered for snow removal services. Our first bid netted us 3 snow removal contractors. Unfortunately, one contractor backed out and left us with 2. We felt like 2 contractors with the employees that they had under them wasn't enough for what our needs are. So we bid it again. This bid netted us an additional 2 snow removal contractors. We feel comfortable now with the 4 contractors. We have enough to provide adequate snow removal services. The 2 new ones are Effluent Retrieval Services of Levittown and Rocket Brothers of Sellersville. Both of them have provided service to us before.
John, any questions?
Nope.
Sorry, Michael.
How if you don't have it straight? Okay, no questions.
No questions. May I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve the second snow bid room for 2023-24.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next is Resolution 2024-14, the TD Bank Authorized Representatives Update. It's a resolution to establish Supervisor Rialto's authority to sign checks with our TD Bank account for the general fund.
Motion?
Motion to approve resolution 2024-14.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
The next resolution is the same, except it's the authority for the Parks and Recreation Fund.
Can I hold on? Mary, should Michael have
I was just gonna say.
abstained?
I don't think it's necessary for him to abstain.
Okay, thank you.
Motion to approve resolution 2024-14.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next are the treasurer's reports for November and December of 2023. For the month of November 2023, revenues outpaced expenditures by $217,206. Real estate transfers posted $74,130. Building permits posted $18,690. Earned income tax posted $457,053. Local service tax posted $39,718. Fund balances for November are as follows, subject to audit. General fund $13,747,552. Firehouse and equipment $695,136. Road machinery $123,033. The general fund, the federal grant ARPA fund is now zeroed. The capital projects fund $720,514. The highway aid fund $16,375. Parks and recreation $671,236. Parks and recreation capital $336,087. Capital reserve $227,777 for a total of $16,564,710.
May I have a motion?
Motion to approve the treasurer's report for November 2023, subject to audit.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And next is for December. For December, expenditures outpaced revenues by $415,605. Real estate transfers posted $52,668. Building permits posted $21,768. Earned income tax posted $238,121. Local service tax posted $4,501. Fund balances for December 2023 are as follows. General fund $13,482,000. $6,432, firehouse and equipment, $695,710, road machinery, $123,305, capital projects fund, $656,766, capital projects, highway 8 fund, $16,375, parks and recreation fund, $635,030, parks and recreation capital, $311,335, capital reserve, $228,152, for a total of $16,149,105.
I have a motion, any questions, John?
No.
Michael?
No.
Motion to approve the treasurer's report for December 2023, subject to audit.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
My last agenda item is the bill payments for December 18th and for January 15th, 2024. Request approval of the bill payments for December 18th totaling $287,755.95, and the bill payments for this month, January 15th, totaling $290,068.01, subject to audit.
John, any questions about the bills?
No.
Michael, any questions?
No.
Yeah, I have a motion.
Motion to approve the bill payments for December 18th, 23, and January 15th, 24.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you.
Mary?
I have no report this
Nothing.
evening.
Thank you. Michelle?
First item I have for you is, we're requesting authorization to advertise this year's, road program with the roads as presented to you in, in this year's budget.
John, any questions?
No.
Michael, any questions?
No.
May I have a motion?
I would like to make a motion to authorize the advertisement of the 2024 road program.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Second item is we're asking for authorization from you to create a punch list for the Woodlands at Warwick, which is land development number 0308. This would be an updated punch list from one we created earlier, but we received a revised request from the developer.
Any questions, John?
Just, Memorial Drive will not be a township road, is that correct?
Memorial
Memorial
Drive
Drive.
is the last road that is to be dedicated to the township.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
That's all.
We were able to talk to, Toll Brothers about continuing to provide snow removal services through the season. So regardless of the timing of dedication, expect.
They'll take care of it this year. Okay, good.
Great. Michael, any questions?
No question.
Mary?
I think it's probably appropriate to make a motion to acknowledge the developer's request for, it's a specific procedure under the MPC.
Okay.
So I would suggest that you make a motion acknowledging the developer's request under 510 to certify the completion of the development, and your instruction to the township engineer to provide a punch list so that you can properly evaluate that request.
Got that?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Great, that's it?
Yes.
Okay. Old business. John, any old business? Michael, any old business?
No.
Kyle, any old business?
No.
New business? John?
No.
Michael?
No.
Kyle?
No.
Public comment? S. Jansen? Nobody for public comment? Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Good night, see you next month.
Wow.